news today, a two-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're afraid to fix them breaking. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, plug right in. It crawls its way under your skin. Just got by all the things they spout, and it won't make you shout. Give me that good news.
Why do we want that good news? Well, because I'm tired of that same old shit. So is Kent, because he's dealing with some electronic issues right now. Isn't that the way it happens? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the grounds with Giles and Jones. I'm Giles, and him sitting over there is Jones. He's the technical director. Having some technical difficulties. That mouse will only reach so far this morning.
Yeah, he's only got enough to get us there. Hey, good morning, everybody. Of course, Uncle Pete up there. Grab that and put that HTTPS right into your URL. Enjoy it. Join the show, the most unique show here at 21.6, where we ask you to jump on, be part of this with us. The madness, the joy that is, of course, the grounds, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at
Cannabis CBD Shop, located right here in McHenry at 818 Front Street, or Route 31, if you will. Stop by, see us, open 7 days a week. If you've got, any knowledge or any, questions on what CBD is, how it can help you, come on in, stop with us. We'll give you a good one-on-one, 818 Front Street in McHenry.
Absolutely. And of course, now 216 Creator Studios, 216 The Net, right here, powered by Heady Cup.
Heady Cup right here in McHenry.
Coffee roasters right here. Today, we're doing the Tanzania Pea Berry. So look at this good stuff. Look at that.
It smells wonderful. I haven't had it yet. I'm still working on my morning tea.
And it's Heady Cup.
Heady Cup, Heady Cup here in McHenry. They were nice enough to supply us with some grounds for the grounds. So we're going to showcase them there today while we're talking.
We are powered by Heady Cup. Absolutely good stuff. Tim Santos, good morning, brother. Glad to have you with us.
Morning, Tim.
Welcome in. Today, we're going to talk about time.
Time is on your side.
I want to talk about time. I think that time is a huge commodity that people put too much
emphasis,
worth or emphasis or stress and strife on. What do you think? Go. Ready? Go.
And A, B. I mean,
Tanzania Pea Berry.
Time. What is it?
Taste it?
I will. Time. What is it?
Yeah, taste it.
What is it? How do we use it? Why is it so valuable?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good
aroma.
Yeah, it's got kind of a little tangy.
Tastes like pea berry.
Pea.
No, it's actually not too bad.
It's more of a tea-ish type twang to it, right?
It's very, very flavorful, but it's got I'm going to have some of that
it's
when
not
I'm
bitter.
done with my tea.
It's not harsh.
Yeah, it's not. I'm used to some of that tea. What do you call it? The acidity?
Yeah, the acidity. I think that's nice.
Acidity.
Yeah.
I can feel my enamel on my teeth staying there.
Yeah.
Not coloring.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, some of that stuff you drink is nuts.
So I wanted to talk about time, Scott, because
we don't have a lot of it.
You hear people, you can't manage people, but you can manage time. You can manage. You wasted a lot of time. Have you been in a spot, people, where you're out there and you go, wow, time flies, just like yesterday, right?
Yeah,
you do that.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, time does fly.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do about it flying, right? Except trying to enjoy it more in the moment. And I think that's the reason time flies, is because people are not always. Well, I'm going to rephrase this because I know my adjectives I use a lot are not really great, but like for me, the time flies because I'm focused on farther out, right? Not on the moment, being mindful, being where you're at. So the time is flying because you're not actually in the moment enjoying it, right? You're pushing yourself out further in time to try to accomplish something to get to the goal that you're working at.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, time is valuable. I mean, we only have so much in our lives that is going to be allotted to us. We don't know what that is. We don't know when it's our time, right? I mean, so what we do with our time is really important, and how can we manage time, or do we just do what we do?
No, you can't. How do you manage time? You can manage your activities during any given day. You can't waste time. It never stops. Time has never stopped. You
Right.
can't you can't manage that.
Right.
Right.
So, right. Because you can't manage the actual clock ticking,
Right.
but you can manage what you're doing
Right.
in that time frame.
Right.
Right.
Right. The concept of managing time, the concept of time blocking. And when you look at business sense, hey, you get a certain amount of time for lunch. You get a certain amount of time to do this. You can have 2 weeks of time for vacation
Paid time
as
off.
you slave for me, right? I
Right.
mean, work for me, right?
Yeah.
So and everybody gets I was Tim posted a great picture of himself, Tim Santos from the Santos Agency Health Markets down on Green Street. Big plug there. You can go ahead and send your check, Tim, to 216. Anyway, he's got one. It had to have been like maybe when he was right out of high school, right? Or maybe in college or whatever. And he's thugged out, right? So he's got like a 40 and a cigarette, and
Oh, really?
oh my god, hilarious, right? And people were like, oh, the see how time flies, or there were some comments and whatnot. It was a great picture, right? And I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's funny, right? And then you look at that and go, yeah, man, time flies, right?
It does. Time does
don't-
move pretty quickly, even though it's still the same 24 hours every day. I think that everyone's, I think myself,
Yeah.
I keep always saying everyone, but is so busy doing things to be productive or to do the things they want to do that time kind of does slip away because you're not being mindful and paying attention to what's going on.
50. You were 15 years old,
just holding a beer and a cigarette.
Yeah,
Nice.
40 and a cigarette. That's partying, bro.
I was gonna say
I was guessing on the age. I mean, he still looks young, right? But I was guessing on the age because he was holding a 40.
He's got memories on that time frame there, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't drink beer at 15, Ma.
Yeah, I think his mom was like, that better not have been in my house.
Better not have been my beer.
Shayna says, morning.
Morning,
I
Shayna.
suffer from time blindness, and it drives anxiety. The other day could be the last week of the 90s
or the 90s.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. That's great.
Time blindness, and it drives anxiety. So can you elaborate on that a little bit, Shayna? Like time blindness, what you're really getting at, and how is it driving your anxiety? I mean, I hear kind of what you're saying, but if you could kind of extrapolate, or Kent, if you have any thoughts on that.
No, I laugh at people who get, and when I say anxiety, don't misunderstand me. Anxiety is anxiety, but the issue is we create anxiety, I think, because of over things we can't control. And the issue being is for the people who try to manage time, or say you waste time, or I wish there was more time, you're not focused on the present. You're not focused on being mindful and being right now. I mean, Buddhists, they talk about that, being right now, being in the moment.
It's huge.
And so many people aren't. And we're rushing here, we're rushing there. There's actually a scientific study that came out that said that people who are always late live longer and are more successful because they basically just don't give a fuck.
They're on their own time schedule, right? They're not going to be held to certain parameters as time, right? So I mean, when we work for ourselves, right? Like for where your regular daytime job is, you, as a general rule of thumb, have a time that you have to be there. Granted, you're in sales, so you don't have to be there 100%. But when you work for yourself, your time management, right, is different, if you want to call it management, or how you're using your time. And if you're 5 minutes ahead or 5 minutes behind, it doesn't matter, as long as you're moving towards that specific, I'm going to say, goal that you're trying to achieve for the day. Mm-hmm. But does it have to be done in a certain amount of time? No, but most corporate businesses think you need to be here from this time. Okay,
so your employee shows up 15 minutes late. Store's supposed to open at 9.
It does happen. And with us, it's important to understand that we are human and we do have lives, we do have problems. And I mean, if it's a habitual thing, it's different.
Why? You just said, hey, they're on their own. Hey,
I'm on my own time as far as a business owner, but when you are an employee, well, that's why I was kind of showing the difference between you being your business owner as far as 216 Creative Studios here and working for your other job, right? You have way more flexibility. There, they have time constraints, right, of what you are expected to be here. For what you do, I don't think it's something that would need to be an 8 to 4 all the time, because you can do what you can do from the phone. But for like my retail stores, I have to have those people there to open the store and greet my customers when they open up, because that's the time that we open up and the time that we allow customers or have customers in to buy from us. So Don
says you don't have to be disrespectful of other people's time to be successful.
Well, no. I that's one of my pet peeves. Like if I have a meeting set with somebody, and they're late, that's one thing, but super late, not calling. I mean, because that's disrespectful to my time and what I'm trying to accomplish that day.
Yep.
Right.
Sure.
I mean,
sure. Well, I love how you say that. My time is disrespectful of your time. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying as far as
right
I have
to Don, same thing.
Right.
What do you mean? You don't have to be disrespectful. It's 24 hours a day is 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
24 hours a day is 24 hours a day.
It is. But
I
think
so because I'm like, well, you know what? I got up late, later than I usually, because I wanted to sleep in. And I'm headed down the road. I know we were supposed to start at 7:30 here, but I get in at 7:40, and now you're mad because I've quote unquote disrespected your time. What about my time, dickhead? So you would rather disrespect my time to force me to be on your time?
Well, if
schedule.
we had an agreement, or a meeting set, and you don't show up or you don't tell that person that you're going to be late, that is a little bit disrespectful in my mind, because I have my days. Well, I don't have it, because sometimes people will have their day scheduled out, and that puts a little lump in their whole schedule.
So because I wanted to be polite and I don't like confrontation, I'm like, yeah, okay, 7:30 works great. But then my time is like, you know what? No, it didn't. I'm just saying, right? So this is what I'm exactly talking about, Don. Thanks for teeing this up and rolling right into it. Pesky little words like integrity. So integrity is I work on your scheduled time. No,
you guys, time. But when you set a meeting, you agree to a time to get together, right?
It happens.
And so for me, I'm being respectful, saying, okay, that works for you. You're saying it works for me. So we get on that, and you miss it.
Very corporate thinking. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I'm a very corporate guy. You know that, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a give and take, really. I mean, granted, if you have something else you needed to do this afternoon, let's say, and you have a meeting set at 1 or 11 o'clock, that person doesn't show up till 12. Well, now you still need to get that meeting out of the way and finish your other projects that has to be done that day.
Oh, look,
so that makes it tough. Don's tuning in from Grapevine.
We tickle the funny bone. Come on in, Don.
I mean, it's a good way to go. I mean, because my time is my time and your time is your time. And what is me disrespecting your time, and how are you disrespecting my time? It's more of a, like Don kind of just said with the integrity. It's, you said you're going to be here to do this. Let's do it. If you're not going to do it and you're not interested, let's move forward, because we only have so much time to do things. And I like to get things knocked out right away. I like to knock it out and forget about it and move on, instead of going up, wait. I'll do it another time.
Yeah.
I want to get it done now,
so
because I'll forget about it.
Yeah. So what you're telling me then is every doctor, eye doctor, dentist, hey, you've got a 2:15 appointment and I have to wait till 2:30. They're disrespecting my time. Oh, wait a minute, you jackasses. I was here at 2:15. That's when I was supposed to be here. And now I'm not being seen till 2:45. You guys don't respect me. You don't respect my time.
You are such a jag sometimes.
I am.
Thanks, Don. I'm sitting over here
I'll say it, Scott.
Are you kidding me?
When I need to fill out forms, Shayna says, at the doctor, for instance, and need to put what year something occurred, or thinking I recently hung out with a friend when the reality is much different. Yeah. Yeah. No, all of a sudden it's like, dang, 2023. Ooh, I remember putting time capsules in for the year 2000, thinking that was a long way away. Right. And now I'm closer. I'm further away from the year 2000 I was when I was doing the time capsules.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, funny you say that, Kent. July 4th, 1976, my family was on vacation in Washington, D.C., and my name is buried on a capsule that will be opened on the tricentennial. So I'd have to live to be 114 to be there to see it. So I don't.
Well, you're going to make it, sir.
Hey,
you're going to make it. You
It's
got
just
time.
I got time.
You got time.
I got time. But I mean, I want to go back to your point about doctor's offices. Yeah, I would put the doctor's office thing. It's almost become just an accepted thing. They've done it. They've done it for so long as doctors. We all know if you go to the doctor for a 1 o'clock appointment, you're not going to see it. You're very unlikely to see the doctor at 1 o'clock. I don't really like that, but it's one of those things. I just know it. So it's just, there's not much I'm going to be able to do about it because that's just almost like,
yeah. And we go, oh, they must have had the guy got up. Maybe he had a quickie with the wife or the husband or whatever the case may be, decided to go out for brunch and then was like, yeah, I'll be in 20 minutes late. Just have everybody hang out.
I'm okay with the doctor's visits, Don. And, I'm super lucky that I don't have to go to a lot of them. But here's the reason. Here's the reason that I'm okay with it. So in the medical industry, they're almost trying to make it like an automated system in a way, right? Mm-hmm. Like get in, get out. For me, when I go to see a doctor, I want more than just bing, bang, boom, you're out. I mean, I want a doctor.
You want him to leave that finger in there for a while. Moon River. Using the whole fist, Doc?
Using the whole fist, exactly. But
Moon River.
Right, exactly. So my thing is I understand that doctor, if they're taking a little bit longer, hopefully they're taking their time, right? Or going slow and evaluating you properly instead of just writing you a script and pushing you out the door. I mean, doctors, when I was a kid, I remember the doctor actually getting to know you, right, and really got involved in your life. These days, it's just walk in, write a script, send you out the door. So I accept that little bit of extra wait time because I'm hoping they're also going to give me some good one-on-one conversation.
And so going forward, I would like everybody to refer to me as Dr.
There you go. There you go. So you can
because
be late all the time.
I can do whatever I want.
You got shitty handwriting, so that's okay.
I can do whatever I want. I can be late because it's accepted because I'm a doctor.
Well, I think I put it under the category of accepting it because there's not much you're going to be able to do about it because they're all the same. But it's what I find interesting about doctors and one of the reasons this is a hot topic for me. My best friend growing up was always late. And it drove me crazy. So I learned at an early age not to like this. But what I find interesting is the people that are almost always 15 minutes late. If they just slid 15 minutes, they'd always be on time. I always found that weird. They're consistent, they're consistent. Yeah. But yeah, I think, Scott, when you were talking about when Kent was pushing back on who's disrespecting time, for me, it's very simple. If I say to Scott, let's meet at 2 o'clock. You say, yeah, we're meeting at 2 o'clock. I say we're meeting at 2 o'clock. In my opinion, we should both be there at 2 o'clock, period, because we said we would be there. Or 1:50. I usually show up a little bit early, but it's just
if I'm not early, I'm late in my mind.
Interesting.
Well, I only do that.
Talk about that time.
I only do the show up early because I don't like being late. So, I kind of plan to get someplace 5 to 10 minutes early because another one of those great excuses, Chicago as an example, someone's late because there was traffic. I'm like, oh my goodness, you mean there was traffic in Chicago?
Yeah, right. No. We never have that.
No, I can't believe that's ever happened before.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's planning on a lot of
this is very, very simple. If I say, if you say you're going to be somewhere, you just do it. We've lost that in our society. Just a simple thing as I will be there at X time is no longer even hardly valued by anybody, by a lot of people.
All right.
So it's not, and it's sad.
Let's take a look at this. So you're there 10 minutes early.
Maybe.
I like how he changes his voice when he gets on his.
Good for you. 10 minutes, big deal, right? What if I'm 10 minutes late? There's no difference. You're 10 minutes. What are you doing with that 10 minutes? Prepping. What are you doing with that time?
Probably doing something on my phone, preparing for the meeting or preparing for the meeting. So to respect
my time, if I got there at 10 minutes early, it's okay to ignore you, not say a word, or even start because we said we were going to meet at
Well, no,
2.
if you're both there early, you're going to
No,
start.
no.
I'm not-
I want to respect your
No,
time.
no,
I don't
no
want to
correction.
be
Hold on.
disrespectful.
How is that disrespectful? You
I
both
don't
showed
go
up.
into the meeting. I don't go into the meeting until the scheduled time. I might arrive somewhere. Very common for me to be sitting in a parking lot for 5 minutes. Not a big deal for me. Finishing
Smoking a
up
joint, getting
something
ready
either
for
for
your
that
phone.
meeting that I'm about to go into or something else I need to do today. So I'm not wasting that 5 minutes for my own personal use, but I'm just ensuring that I get there. So it's 5 minutes that I could have spent back at my office and then pushed my luck being at the meeting on time. Now I just get there a few minutes early. I stop doing my stuff and I go in to meet someone on the scheduled time. It's just,
I do kind of the same thing, Don, is I'll get there early. One, because I just don't like to be late, and to kind of incite Kent here again, I respect the person's time that I'm meeting with, but so for me, I like to show up, one, because I don't like to be late, and
Right.
two, depending on what I'm going to meet for, what we're doing, I like to prep or at least go through what I'm, if it's a sales call or it's a
Yeah,
a
be
business
prepared.
meeting, I like to go through what I'm going to go through, and because as you can tell through the podcast, that I sometimes have brain farts, so I want to make sure that I'm ready to roll. You know what I mean?
no, never noticed that before, Scott. Never noticed that.
I don't care.
It's 7:30 here.
We're on the same 24-hour clock,
Exactly.
so it's not your time.
No, I agree. I'm
Well,
not
it's
even
just
arguing
time.
it's my time. I'm not arguing it's my time.
But
I'm not
don't
arguing the issue
disrespect
of time.
my time. Well,
All right. Well, then maybe the statement is just wrong. Don't disrespect me by showing up late. How about not my time?
I treat you courteously. I'm very courteous. I appreciate you. I'm not disrespecting you at all.
Well, so I think more of the disrespect really comes from
Change it
when
to
it's
being
more of
rude.
a
Use the
when
word
it's
being
more of a
rude,
habitual. It's more of a habitual thing. Like if I've got a meeting with somebody and they show up a little bit late, it's life. I mean, that stuff happens. I get that. But
Yeah,
when
it
it's
happens.
somebody, let's just say it's an employee that constantly shows up late. That's disrespectful. And for me in the retail industry, that's grounds for dismissal.
And when you're working at home and your grandkids start saying, Papa, 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 you're like, listen, you're disrespecting my time. Go away. I've got work to do.
If you ever said that to a kid, I would have to smack you.
Hey, what's the difference, kid? A human being.
It's called being an adult. It's called being an adult.
It's called being an adult, right? And accepting the responsibility.
Now we want to throw societal norms into
yes,
time
I
management.
do. Yes, I do want to throw a societal norm on being courteous and polite and respectful to other adults. Absolutely, I will put that.
Well, you have to throw that in there. You have to throw. It's what's acceptable, not acceptable in society. Whether you want to agree with it.
Kent's not going to go on a sales
it.
call. Kent's not going to go on a customer call. Somebody that from the bank that he's going to see about them investing a bunch of money and show up 20 minutes late. I bet you, unless it's an
sure
accident,
he can. He can just say he decided to stay home and poke the old lady. And
actually, I do.
Because they need him. Yeah. They don't need anybody else. It's Kent's the only one that can solve the problem.
And Don,
if you're in that position, that's a good place to be. Yeah.
Here's the deal. The truth is that even just last Friday, I forgot that I had on my calendar a 4:00 appointment. And I'm wrapping up. In the know with Steph and Joe, and my phone rings. I see somebody from the bank. I ignore it, and then the phone rings again. I'm like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey,"
it's the worst feeling ever.
They're here, and I'm like, "Huh, okay."
What are they there for?
You know what? I'll be there. I'm out of the office right now. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I got there before 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said,
that happens, kid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
just take them up to my office, right? And they did, and I get in there, and I just said, "Hey," and we just carried on. I didn't.
Hold on. What was the first thing you said when you walked in that office? Did you say, "Hey, nice to meet you.
Apologized, but he didn't want to
did not apologize for being late.
You did not apologize for just, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm just wondering because certain people, I generally, if I am late, which drives me freaking nuts, but I will say sorry if I'm late because the people I'm dealing with, I'm hoping. I guess I shouldn't.
You know why I didn't say I'm sorry? Because I wasn't. I was doing my job.
You made a clear mistake, right? That was a clear mistake.
What was a mistake?
That you forgot about the meeting. You said you forgot about it.
I met with them.
I know, but you forgot about it. That's why you were late. So sorry, life got in the way. You don't have to say sorry, but there's a reasoning.
I didn't apologize because I wasn't sorry. Why would I say I'm sorry? I wasn't.
Well, if you're not sorry, you wouldn't. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So how do you feel? How does it make you feel when somebody, let's say you got a 3:00 meeting and they show up at 3:20? Hey, buddy, how you doing? Having a great day?
You know what I do? I get on my phone. I do a little work, whatever. And then I'm like, well, if they're not here in the next 20 minutes, then I'll bounce.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
If more people were like
Right?
you in the world, this world would be simple.
right. Well, it is. But we have
Nothing would
we
get
still
done,
run
but-
under in America, allegedly, right? In America, we still run under 1960 guidelines for shit, and it's ridiculous. It's not 1960s anymore, right?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't have to
I mean,
worry-
for whatever
integrity-
reason, we still move the clock forward and backwards. It doesn't
Nope,
make
that's
any
done.
sense.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
done.
I'm not going to argue
Allegedly.
that one, but things that are things like integrity or should be timeless is all I'm saying. But because
No, but that's two different things.
But no, we were talking about the respecting of time, and I could concede, okay, maybe you're not disrespecting time; it's being rude. But it's simpler. It's much simpler than that, Deke. If I tell you I'm going to be somewhere at 2:00, unless something happens, I'm going to be there at 2:00. Why? Because I said so. And maybe that's only important to me.
Right.
It doesn't have to be important to you or
Right.
anybody else. It doesn't have to be. I'm just saying I would love it personally if more people had that level of integrity.
And when
We used to be in the old days, right? Where
Yeah.
and it never was like this completely. But again, there was a time when a handshake was legit deal, and if I said
Still
something,
is.
my word is my bond, which I hate that statement. But there was a time when it was. It's not anymore for a lot of people. It's just whatever. I can do whatever I want, and it doesn't really matter if it affects you or doesn't affect you. If I told you I'll be somewhere at 2, I may be there. I might not be there. That's just, to me, it's just, I mean, it's just
sure,
sad.
Well, Tim, I like what Tim says. If there's a time frame designated for you, like an hour, but the actual time needed for the meeting or the doctor appointment or whatever is less than that, as long as it's done within the time frame, being late is okay with me, he says.
Yeah, if I book 2 to 3 and they start at 2:15, I get done by 3. Yeah, again, doctors are a different animal.
I mean, I like what Tim says right here. Tim says start time is fluid to me. End time is not. That's what she said. Thank you very much.
You are sick.
Yeah,
You are
he
sick.
teed me up. I had to.
Yeah.
I
I know.
had to.
I know.
It
Well,
was right there.
start time can be fluid depending on the person, the meeting. There's a lot of different criteria to look at it. You know, the disrespect part. You know, I get it. There could be offensive to some people and others to
Yeah.
not, because they realize that life is life and things change and get in the way. And if you're okay
Yeah.
with that, that's fine. But if you live your life and, you know, or you deal with people and you're not being, I'm going to use the word respectful of their time or,
Oh, yes.
right. No,
I
so
have to
I'm trying to think
respect
of I'm
your
trying to
time.
think of a better word to actually,
Yes, your time's
put
more
that, but,
important.
you know,
than
if you're not
my
getting there
time.
and you're wasting their time or not allowing them to use their time productively because you're constantly late, that does say a lot about a person, you know, and their personality. That they
He
don't.
doesn't
that they
believe
don't
that,
care.
Scott. He doesn't
Oh,
believe
of
that.
course, because that's the way you were raised. It doesn't.
It is the way I was raised, and I'm not
So
saying
so
it's wrong.
gotta-
But for me as a person, the way I was raised, because that's the only way I know the world is the way I was raised.
Mhm.
I don't know it the way
Yeah.
you were raised, right?
Mhm.
So for me, it's going, all right. Does it not matter that much to you to be here to do this in the time frame that we originally slotted, or is it just whatever? I'll do it when I want to do it.
Yeah, the wolves that raised Kent in the wilderness didn't have clocks, Scott. So
That's right.
Well, he lived on a farm, so I mean, the sun up, sun down. I mean, and whatever you got done
Right.
between sun up and sundown is really important, and I get that.
So Shana asks, if I were to invite you to a dinner party starting at 6 p.m., what time might I expect you? And the answer
me
is
5:55
And the answer is somewhere around 6-ish,
when he shows up.
right?
I would
Okay.
ask- I
Well,
would
here's
prob-
here's
if I
the
was
deal.
invited to a dinner party, I'd probably just ask, hey, Shane, are you guys sitting down for dinner at 6? You know, is there anything we can
Pre-cocktails.
bring? Do we need to get there a little bit early? Whatever, I'd get a little clarification. But if it was just
so
that it
Don
started at
likes to
6, I'd be there at
communicate.
6. If it
So
was
Don's
6,
really
I'd be there at
important.
6.
Don likes to communicate.
I do like to
That's
communicate,
important.
but if they said 6 o'clock,
I'm
I'd be
with
there
you.
at 6
I'm
o'clock.
not making fun of you. That's just what doesn't happen a lot, right?
No, I agree.
will
Yeah,
see you
just
around
ask a
6.
question or two. But if all I saw was the dinner party starts at 6, I'm gonna be there at 6.
Okay. So, have you ever had somebody disrespect your time because they weren't on your time
Mm-hmm.
at 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
They roll in, and in the 20 minutes that they're not respecting your time, you're like, these motherfuckers, goddamn pieces of shit. But you're going through that in your mind.
No, I'm
And
not.
then all of a
I'm
sudden
not
they
going
come
there,
in and they're like, yeah, sorry, my child was in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And you go,
Well,
oh man, I feel
well, now
horrible.
you feel like a dick, right?
Why? What's different?
Well, let me answer. Let me answer that one. First of all, I'm not making those judgments about them. I'm not thinking what you said when they're late.
Okay, we've all done it.
Right. We've all been late. It happens. That's why I'm not. And again, if this is somebody I've met with 20 times and they've never been late and now they're late, I'd probably be worried about them. You know, I always tell people, if I tell I'm going to be somewhere and I'm not there at the time and you haven't heard from me, call 911. But if it's like somebody that's normally not late and they showed up 20 minutes late, I'm not sitting there thinking, what a jerk, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably thinking, I hope everything's okay, because the history of this person tells me that they're usually on time.
Well, sure.
But yeah, if they showed up, I'm going to always give someone the opportunity to, you know, I'm not going to think anything until they tell me, well, I ran into traffic.
You're a unique individual. You're a unique individual because everybody does.
Well, you got to give people their chance to explain, because there might be a really good reason. I'm not saying every time somebody's late.
Well, and that's the thing is,
so they show up 20 minutes late and they don't explain.
So, but do you do you even care to hear their explanation? They're late. So unless it is something like the kid got in a car,
so that's a difference.
Well, there is a difference. If you just have poor time management and you don't care about making it on time.
Poor time management. I had 6 other meetings that went long, and that's poor time management because I was 20 minutes late. Well, and I made money with those people, and I'm trying to make money with you.
Maybe that should have been part of the criteria of setting up the job. Be like, hey, I've got a really busy day. You know, let's shoot for 2, but I have a few things that could go long. So if there's communication there to let them know that, hey, this is a potential. Obviously, you can't change, you can't manage accidents, other things that happen in life.
But you're saying I can manage everything else, so I should be 15 minutes early. 6
meetings before that, your chances of them going long are pretty damn good. And if you just, for me, it's say, hey, look, this is what I got going. Let's plan on meeting at 2, but I'll keep in contact with you. Perfect. That's all I want to know.
I don't have time to keep in contact. I'm too busy. I don't have time.
Yeah, well, you're just one of those special people. Again.
Good morning, Shayna. Pops, how are you? Bob Giles is in. So many people in this world suffer from quote-unquote time blindness, which I believe is the inability to sense the passing of time. It's not just a character quirk. In some cases, it can be a symptom of neurodevelopmental disorders, including attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. We had a sister-in-law who would always leave at the time she was supposed to be at a meeting. She had great difficulty in either understanding, relating to, or caring about the difference.
Yeah, I would have great empathy and sympathy for that person, and I would not understand it and know it. That's totally, to me, that's totally different.
Every person's different. Yeah, every person's different. You know how to deal with them. I mean,
we've got some people at the bar.
Well, I've got some people in my life that are constantly late as well. And so if we're planning on doing something at 5, I'd be like, oh, it starts at 4. You know, that way, that typical late time can be pushed back because now they think it's 4 instead of 5.
Yeah, my buddy.
So then they'll end up showing up on time, right?
Yeah, Scott, my buddy that I grew up
on
with.
Whose time?
Crazy. Yeah.
Well, on so when you're having a group of people come together, we're having a plan to meet at a time. So if everyone else can do it and meet on time and you can't, you suck.
On whose time?
On the time that everyone agreed. So it's everybody's time.
Agreed
obviously
upon
not
it's
because
God's
they're
time.
Obviously not because they're always late and they're on their time. You go. I've spent a lot of time on the Lakota reservation, right? A Rosebud reservation with the Lakota Indians, and they say it's Indian time. Hey, we're going to start working on this house for Habitat for Humanity at noon. They roll around at 2, and everybody says it's Indian time, right? Hey, why are we so pressed? What do you get? You know they're going to be late. Carry on at 5. You know they're going to show up at 5:30. Whatever. You just keep going.
Right? No, I do keep going, and I think that's
no. You don't. You've tried to manipulate people by going, "Hey, we're doing it at 4." What happens when they show up at 4 and nobody's there? You're going to be like, oh, well, we actually do this all the time because you're late constantly.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm
so you're going to make them feel bad for the way they lead their life.
I'm not making them feel bad. I'm managing the situation. I understand that certain people have certain quirks, and to get everyone together and have a good time, I'm going to make sure that we're there. And I don't mean to disrespect anyone's time or to be disrespectful to them by doing that. I just know what works. And if that's what works for me, that's what works for me and my group, then I'm going to do that.
So you're
You know?
such a caring person. You don't care.
No,
what
I don't
works
care about
for
anybody.
me.
I only care about
You just
anybody. I
wanna
care
know
about
what
just
works.
me. That's just what's about me.
Right.
Nothing
Okay.
else in the world
I
matters.
just
You
wanted
know
to
that.
make sure.
But hey, at least we don't live in Jamaica, because in
Salvador
Jamaica it's
says you
soon
just
come.
don't show up late. Yeah. Again,
Yeah, right?
I think the key distinction here is agreed upon. Yeah, if it's flexible and stuff, that's totally different. But if it's agreed upon, it's no different than just something else. I've agreed to pay you $500 for this job. Well, I just decided I thought it should be $400 instead of $500, even though we both agreed on it. Well, sorry, I disrespected the work you did by only paying you $400.
It happens all the time, Don.
Yeah,
That's not strange. People
it's
dicker all the
pitiful.
time.
And it's pitiful. If they agree to a price.
Ask any contractor out there. Scott, you're in the trades. You know that. Ask any contractor out there. Nope, I'm not going to sign off on this, and I'm not going to pay that because it's not up to my standard. But we agreed upon. Yeah, no, it's not up to my standard. But people are chasing money all the time. Happens all the time.
That's one of the big things of
Happens
having a business, right?
Yeah, they walk in and like, hey, I want this 6-inch dildo right here, and you got $45 on it. I could get it online for 10, but I'm here and I want it for 10. And you're like, that's a $45 dildo.
I say
all day long.
I say get it online then.
Right.
I'm not even going to face myself with that.
There's your T-shirt, $45 dildo.
For 10.
It's got to be a hell of a toy.
Here, and Sal says you just don't show up late.
Hold on, he's going to ask you why.
Yeah.
Is that the way you were raised? So, when you were raised, Kent, what were your parents? What were the things that your parents actually taught you? Because time is, we've used this because time is valuable, because we only have so much time on this blue marble, right? So, what did mom and dad tell you that made you think the way that you think? I mean, you guys were farmers, so you guys didn't have to be.
We weren't farmers. We grew up in Iowa. I wasn't a farmer.
I thought your dad was a farmer.
Well, we lived on a 100-acre farm for a while in Michigan.
So then what do you
consider?
I get that too, kid. I grew up in Kansas.
My dad was an engineer.
I grew up in Kansas. Everybody thinks I grew up in a wheat field.
Right.
I thought he farmed before.
Never been in one.
Well, we had a big garden and chickens, but we'll need much more tolerance for peeps in general. 1 in 36 kids are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and that's a whole.
You know how you can thank that. Yeah, you know how you can.
Sal says you call ahead. So what Sal is saying is, excuse me, Scott, I'm going to disrespect your time during this meeting so that I can call Sal so I don't disrespect his time. Let me see him, just make sure. Nope, he didn't answer again. Oh, let me just hang tight. I'm going to call again. Nope, didn't answer again. Just a minute now. Let me text him. I'm going to just shoot him a text. And I waste 10 minutes of Scott's time because Sal says I had to call ahead. Listen.
Well, you're not wasting it. You're not. I'm allowing. So for me,
I'm
so
allowing.
Well, because for me, if we have something put together, right, and we have a specific plan, a specific time, and you just obviously, you're sitting there on your phone, or you show up late, then you're sitting on your phone trying to deal with your next thing. Generally, to be honest with you, dude, I walk out of that meeting. Or if I'm sitting with somebody and we're just talking or we're hanging out, and then they pick up their phone and start texting or checking emails and stuff while we're together, fuck you, I'm gone.
See, this is where you're
disrespecting my time.
This is where I go with Tim. I don't show up 45 minutes late to an hour meeting.
You got 15 minutes.
You got 15 minutes.
That's fine. I get that part. I do get that part. And circumstances change all the time. But I think the reason that we're getting kind of in this part is, for me, maybe I'm taking it a different way. It's like a person that's consistently late, not just everybody. Things happen, right? But if it's the same person doing it over and over and over again, that's disrespecting my time. If it's a one-person meeting, it's disrespecting themselves too, because to me, then they're saying that to you that I don't mean that, I don't mean anything.
And you saying that says you're disrespecting because their time doesn't mean anything to you.
If they're if they're habitually late, don't set a time with me. They're not going to show up.
If they show up 15 minutes after the appointment, that means they're right on time. Their time.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work for me, and that's not how I choose to do business and live my life. And that's my choice, 100%. And that's why we're all different. The reason, and that you brought this up, which I love this subject because it can go so many different ways, right? Because maybe the word isn't disrespect my time. It's
here's the deal.
It's disrespecting our agreement.
First of all,
we're not holding together our agreement.
Scott, let me just chime in here. It isn't, for me, this isn't about the time per se. It is simply put, I like to deal with people in my life that if they say something, I can believe it to be true. And this is one small example of it. If someone says we're going to meet at 2, and then we meet at 2, I don't think that's too much to ask of people to actually live up to the word. If I'm going to say I'm going to do X job for you on Tuesday, I would like to think people will show up and do X job on Tuesday. Doesn't mean people always do it, but why it sounds like we're acting like we shouldn't expect anything from people in this regard. Oh, if you give your word you're going to do something, well, they may not, and we're just supposed to be whatever. I'm not going to sit there and bash anybody about it, but I probably won't do business with them if they do it consistently, because I don't have to. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. I'm just going to say, you know what?
So let's step out of the business, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all are looking at it from a business standpoint.
I'm talking personally as well.
Let's just say, hey man, I'll meet you at the bar for a drink.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you can be late because it doesn't matter. I'm hanging by myself.
Oh, well, what's the difference? I don't understand.
So for me, when I'm on my personal time or enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. So I help, and this is going to sound, I have a little bit different standard when it's doing business, because in doing business, you're trying to bring two entities together, right? To make something happen or to create something or take, whatever that meeting may be. When you're meeting a friend at the bar, that's a more casual, laid back experience. So if you're going to be late, not as big a deal than us trying to, go out and get new advertisers for the studio or something. If you show up to a place that wants to become an investor in the studio and you're late, probably they're going to be like, no, I'm going to pass. And they're going to say the words that you love to hear. They disrespected our time because you were late.
Right.
Maybe that's the way they run their business. So that puts a different thought in their head. Personal versus business is a completely different thing.
And here's exactly what I would say. Then we weren't supposed to do business together. If you're that shallow,
choice, right.
But let me help you out. Let me help everybody out. And Robert asked, is it acceptable or disrespectful to show up late for 216 the Net? To me, I will be absolutely honest with you. Don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'll be on air, whatever. Mm-hmm. We've showed up 10 minutes late. We've had issues. It happens. That's life. I don't care. If you're a guest on my show, if you didn't tune in, so I'm going to ask, how many of you out there listening were sitting by your computer, the radio, 216 the Net at
7:29,
7:15 because you showed up early going,
no, 7:29.
I can't
wait to listen to these idiots.
Those idiots came on at 7:31.
But kids, I don't have to watch your show. I'm not committed to you that I'm watching your show today. If I told you I was going to be on your show today, I'm going to be there. If I haven't told you, I can make my decision at 7:30 whether to come or not. The simple truth is, if I tell you I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. It's that simple. I don't understand what's the complicating factor about this.
That's your integrity as a person, and that says a lot about you.
Yes,
Shayna. It's so simple, though. Why would I tell you I'm going to be somewhere if I'm not going to do it?
But as humans, we make things way more complicated, right?
Shayna says, I might be missing the point of this conversation. There is a point, right? Yes, the point is this, and this is what I want.
I took it off time and put it on to just people keeping their word. That's probably that might be what Shane is referencing.
Well, and that's the joy. I mean, that's exactly the idea of the grounds is.
Sure.
I mean, when we sat over at Cafe 31, there were 22 different conversations going on.
That was heck.
And then, I mean, it was wonderful, right? I mean, and that's what this show is all about. My point is this. Throughout this show, I've heard my time, your time, my time, your time. I'm telling you, you don't own the time.
Agree with that.
You do not own.
No, we can't control time. We can use it to our advantage.
But it causes so much stress. It causes so many people to be upset with other people because you disrespected my time. None of us own time. We're on this blueberry for a minute and a half.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
Take a look at Pete, Uncle Pete, Rancher Ron.
Yeah, God rest their souls.
Done, gone, finished. Take a look at your kids' baby pictures.
Yeah. Black and white.
My gosh, where has the time
gone?
You don't own it. And we all try to manage it and put it in a box. And then I get upset with another human being because they didn't respect my time.
Again, Deke, this is where, again, I probably put a different twist on this because for me, it isn't about the time. It's about commitments and keeping your word. That's all. It could be on any different subject. It doesn't have
Here's
to
what
be
I told Scott. Guess what, people? Everything updates by itself now. All the clocks, everything.
Yeah. No
you ever get in your car and it's constantly 2 minutes slow? Maybe the powers that be are taking quote unquote your time and adding 5 minutes, moving it up faster every night when you fall asleep. And maybe now we're 4 weeks ahead. So your time blindness. So this is why people have time blindness, because somewhere in the back of our head we go, you know what? Maybe it is 2020 still. Right? But but you get in the car, you look at the clock on the wall, and you go, oh, batteries must be slow.
Yeah, no doubt.
Why is it every week that when I hear the news at the top of the hour at 6 a.m., my clock says 5:58?
Yeah,
could it be that it's that slow every week? I lose 2 minutes every week in my car. I don't know.
That you need a new car.
Well, it is January. It is January of 2023 right now. You know that, right?
Right. All that I'm saying is we get so stressed out in life. Number 7 on the board of my rules for success is practice mindfulness. That means be in the moment. I start getting upset because Don's late or Scott's late because I'm not in the moment. I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. Life's not a chess game. It's not. Take a moment to take a deep breath and be in the moment.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Jesus walked this earth, said, hey, all you got to do is love your neighbor as yourself. Love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, right? Do unto others as you'd want to do unto you. That's it. And just, he was present. Just be present. But here's the problem. When I start getting upset because you're quote unquote late and you're on my time, that's because I'm not in the present moment. I'm either 6 minutes behind or I'm 2 weeks ahead in my mind. And my gosh, I got to, right? Well, I won't apologize. I didn't apologize to that couple. People come into the bank, and if they don't have an appointment with me, I make them wait 15 minutes, whether I'm sitting there playing Candy Crush or not. You know why? Because you didn't respect my time. So you can sit down there. Yeah, tell them I'm wrapping up. If they call because I'm up on the 2nd floor that they can't get into, I go, yeah, tell them I'll be down. I got to wrap a couple things up. Tell them I'll be down in 10 minutes.
That just makes you feel more important because you're controlling their time.
No, it doesn't.
Well, why would you do it then? If you could see them right now, why wouldn't you see them right now?
Why should I?
I'm just asking,
why should I drop what I'm doing? I can always see. I can always stop what I'm doing.
Candy Crush?
I can always stop what I'm doing. Yeah,
right,
maybe I'm on a heater.
But you just said you'll
maybe
always.
I'm on a heater.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Is that a justification for your power?
I got no power. They can get up and walk out.
Right, but you can make them. I'm just asking. You can make them 15 minutes late. Oh, you showed up without an appointment. How disrespectful of my time. You wait 15 minutes.
No, I didn't say of my time. I said, there you go. You wait. You didn't have an appointment.
You made the comment, so I'm just trying to see what your train of thought is on that.
Why do I have to make them not wait?
Well, because you're playing Candy Crush, so you might as well go do
your job. What if I was pooping?
Well, that's a different story.
Why? Why is that different?
I'd want you to finish.
I can stop it.
I would want you to finish speaking before you met me at the appointment.
All right, what does Shayna say? Shayna says, wisdom is a little light this week. Time is the currency we use on this world. It's perishable and best spent with those that not appreciate it. It is my, in quotations, time because I decide how it gets spent. Well, that's true. We do decide how our time gets spent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, and that is our choice. And if we choose to use that properly, and that's where it gets a little upsetting, or, where people use the disrespect, because I'm choosing, right, to decide how to spend my time. I decided to spend my time with a meeting between you of 2 and 3 o'clock. And after that, I have other things that I'm going to spend my time doing, right? So just revamping, not having to worry about being late and going on top of it. So you do decide how your time gets spent. Unfortunately, there are outside factors that can affect the time and what it's being used for. And you have to adjust to that. And that's part of life. It is part of life. It's the habitual time late people that make me nuts.
Shayna, my wife, Alice, would ask you why the hell you're listening to me to try to find some wisdom this week.
You're in the wrong place, right?
You should change the channel,
Yeah.
she would say. Right. Tim says, if your business process is to set an appointment, then that is how business is done. Kent does not need to go outside his process to accommodate anyone. Correct. Right. And here's the idea with banks, people think they can just walk in banks and that their people are just there to wait on them. Right.
Well, I mean, you are kind of there to not wait on them, but you're there to help them. My reasoning.
I help them? Sure. Wait 15 minutes. I'm busy.
But you say you're going to make them wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Right. But what you said was, if someone shows up to my bank without an appointment, I'm going to make them wait.
Yeah.
For you. And to me, the way you say that is kind of an asshole move. Like, I'm going to make them wait because they have to see me, instead of going, yeah, I'll try to get to them as soon as possible.
Sure. Let me stop whatever I'm doing to kowtow to the people who just came in business out of the blue. For what reason? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's
Deke,
what your job.
The difference is, Deke, the way you said it, Deke. It wasn't I'm busy right now. You said I'm going to make them wait.
I am going to make them
wait.
wait.
That's what I'm saying. That was a dick move. Yeah. I'm going to make them wait.
I am going to
want to play Candy Crush. It's not like
them for
I'm busy playing Candy Crush with my time.
That's not business. You don't get paid to play Candy Crush at your job. Do you?
Really does.
And I want to work for you. I want to work for that company. I would never play Candy Crush.
To listen to YouTube, to listen to 21.6. Yeah, I get paid all that. Yeah.
Then you got the best of all worlds there, my friend. You can play games at work, regulate other people's times, and tell people to hang out.
Yep.
And you're not ready for it.
And then on Sunday, ask Sal Villalobos. He does what I do. And on Sunday at 5 p.m. when that phone rings and I have to work a deal, what's going on with the bank then? The bank's not going, well, you let's Sunday at 5. You can't be playing Candy Crush. It's Sunday at 5.
Sunday at 5. I don't answer the phone if I work for a 9 to 5 job. I don't
work for a 9 to 5 job.
You don't have to be at the bank at a certain hour. No, you don't have to put in a certain amount of hours.
I'm in sales.
You're in sales?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's your choice to answer the phone or whether or not to answer the phone.
Why does everything have to roll around business? Why does it have to be business?
Because that's the path we went on today. Because if we go personal, it's totally different. Just like I said, meeting your friend at the bar versus meeting a client for a meeting. There's a difference there. There's a different social norm, if you will.
So now
we're socially acceptable.
So now it's the push to be socially acceptable.
No,
right?
I didn't say
time is time. There
time.
Isn't business time. There isn't personal time.
Cindy
there's
Lauper
24.
That, right?
There's 24 hours in a day. You have it. I have it.
Right. And how you use it is your choice. Because everything is your choice. But if someone disrespects that time that you're trying to put things together,
so then it's not my choice.
It makes it harder. Well, it was your choice, potentially, depending on the situation, not to be there on time on an agreed upon time. Don you could have another sales call where you need to go out and now. And
as long as it's business, it's okay. Everything is socially norm acceptable. You understand where I'm going?
In your world,
with this,
that
folks?
works.
Do you see where I'm saying? We throw all these things out and all these rules and regulations, but it's scientifically proven people who are late are healthier and more successful. Scientific,
right? And I'll tell you why that is because they don't. I don't want to say they don't give a fuck, but they don't give a fuck, and they are on their own time, and they're going to do things the way they want to do. So they're not Hold on, they're not stressing about what it's going to cause, the problem it may cause you. Where if you're a time management person, it does stress you out because I got to get it all.
What rule or regulation did I espouse this morning?
What's that?
What rule or regulation, if any, did I espouse this morning?
What rule or regulation?
Yeah, you mentioned we put all these rules and regulations. Did I espouse any rules?
For being 15 minutes early, for saying, hey, we had an appointment to be there at 2.
Well, right. So it's a rule or regulation for me to expect someone to do what they said they would do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was looking for clarity, not agreement.
That's the social norm. I
was looking for clarity, not agreement. Yeah. Then I find that that's part of what I think is sad about our society is that it's now not deemed the norm to do what you said you're going to do. That's
right.
Like I said, this isn't about time to me. This is about just
It's
Right,
become a
I
lot,
know,
it's become a lot
I
more about
understand.
me. It's become a lot about, and not me in general, but it's people's respect, I think, has definitely waned a lot more and it's become more about them, and that's the reason the world and so many people are so cold. Is it's just more about them. It's not about the world, the greater good, the tribe. I mean, everyone's just out for themselves. Now, I said everyone. I'm trying to watch myself. A lot of people in this world are out only for themselves. They don't give a fuck about others. That's a problem. And when you're doing something like this, disrespecting my time, that's a problem, because then it's going to slow me down on my agenda. And if you don't care enough to help me to move forward with what I'm doing and what we're trying to do, in my book, fuck you, I'm done. I'm going to move on. Right?
That's your call. Yeah, that's it's again, it's
I mean, and that's my choice. It's my choice every day.
You make that call, yeah. Yeah,
Yes, we got a guy out there, a squeaky bot.
A squeaky bot?
What that is, a squeaky? So something came up on the thing. Guy wants to advertise.
What you describe / promote is narcissistic. I
wonder if she's talking to me about me expecting people to keep their word. I don't know.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, because
I
think Shayna's down on me.
I mean, if she's saying narcissistic, I'm going right to me first.
So listen. I think that if you understand time, somewhere your path and my path, or we say 2:00. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna set aside an hour for that, right? I'm like, okay, right? Now, people in business, we think that it's proper business etiquette to communicate, to say, hey, okay, right? That's because we're in the business world. And because a lot of us are in to make money. That's it. Hey, when you're going to, right? And I know, and Salvador does too. He knows a lot of people and lenders who, hey, I'm there 9 to 5. You call me after hours, I'm not picking up that phone. Screw you. That's my time.
Well, that's your choice too,
right? I'm just saying that that's ridiculous. Okay. You're given 24 hours, the same 24 hours that I am. You might be an hour ahead or 2 hours behind, depending on what time zone. You might be 13 hours ahead. I don't know, wherever you're at in the world. But the bottom line is we each have the same 24 hours. And we get so upset when we think somebody has, quote unquote, wasted our time. Right? It's not.
Well, it is upsetting when someone wastes your time.
What are you doing? If they're 20 minutes late, are you just sitting there drinking coffee going, where are these fuckers?
Some people might. I mean,
right? Yeah, Kent is describing the traits of a narcissist. You are right about them being quite numerous in the CEO population, right?
Shayna, if you can chime back in, I'm just looking for clarity here. Are you saying that to if someone says they're going to meet you and you expect them to be there on time, I just want to clarify, is that narcissistic just to simply expect someone to do what they said they would do or be there when they said they would? I'm just looking for clarity because like Shayna's down on me this morning.
She's reading into him. She's reading into him. She's catching up with him.
Or I'm reading her wrong.
So it's never you, Don.
It's never you, Don. Well, I thought you were smarter than that, so I was right. You are smarter than that, yeah.
Right. So you sit there and you're frustrated because we said we were going to meet at 2. I got there at 2:20.
I'm not frustrated. You're putting words in my mouth. I'm just simple. I'm a simple man, Kent. If you said you're going to be there at 2, I expect to be there at 2. If you're not, I'm probably going to be forgiving. I'm going to ask, hey, everything okay? If you just something bad happened and it was just a one-time deal, it's gone. I don't care. I'm talking about that consistent. You wouldn't do business with someone every time they made a commitment to you, they didn't keep it.
Oh, shit, I do. I got a lot
Well,
of that.
you know, that's not good business practice. But I mean, if you've got somebody that's got a consistent performance of doing what they said, and then they make a mistake or they miss something or they don't do something, you cut them a break. I mean, I'm not talking about one time you show up late and I'm done with you. That's not it at all. You're going to be thoughtful and forgiving. But yeah, I just put this outside the context of the time discussion, because I agree with you on time. We all have 24 hours. People say they don't have enough time, yet we watch 24 hours, 12 hours of TV a day and on our phone for 6 hours a day.
That's just an excuse.
So the whole issue of we don't have enough time is just mostly felonious.
Well, people that use we don't have enough time are the ones that don't have good time management.
Right.
According to,
in my opinion,
yes.
right?
No, they're choosing what to spend their time on.
Again, I'm
time.
telling you, you can't manage time. It continues. It never stops.
I can't
You're not
manage
gonna
time.
stop
I can manage my actions in a time frame.
But you can't manage my actions.
I can't manage. No, but I can manage my actions in a certain.
You can manage how you
frame.
spend your time. You
I
can't
can manage how
time,
I spend my time.
But you just said those people waste time, or what did you say?
Well, you said Don said the people that said that they just don't have enough time in the day to get something done.
Don't have enough time management.
Right. And I said it's time, comes down to time management. If there's certain things that you want to get done in a day, you have to plan accordingly to get these things done. If you've got 24 hours just like me, and you need to get 40 hours worth of work done, you have to realize that ain't going to happen. And sitting around, not working forward towards that goal of what you need to be done. And that's time management. We can manage our time. We can't slow time up. We can't get more time.
Okay, so how do you you can't manage your time?
Manage what you do with your time is all you have. That's the only thing.
Say that again.
I said we can only manage what we do with the time, not the time. We're not managing the time.
Right, we're managing what we do in that time. So I can't slow the clock down or speed the clock up. I can just manage on what I'm going to do between each tick of that clock. Right. And I can try to plan accordingly. And when somebody disrespects, quote unquote, my time by not showing up consistently, it puts a wrench in my time management.
So Shayna says, I hang with a certain caliber of person. I have too much self-respect to play down. Do or don't is none of my concern, but will be taken into account in deciding your value to me. If I'm closing $1 million deal, I might choose to accept the disrespect.
And you said the right word in there. You choose what you're doing with that situation because it's your time and how you choose to management. It is her time.
No, it's not.
24 hours is her time. What she does with that 24 hours is her time.
She doesn't own it.
Okay, she's renting it.
So how much time do you get in your life, Scott?
I don't know.
It's yours. Tell me how much time you get.
I don't know, but I know that every day I wake up,
it's not your time.
I hopefully get 24 hours a day.
So it's not your time.
Whose time is it?
It's just time.
Just time.
All right, well, but it's
our good friend Pete and Ron probably thought they had
a lot of time.
More time.
Yeah, we don't know, and that's why managing what you're doing. It's not mine. It's not mine, but I can choose what I want to do with the time that I have in front of me. Right?
Your actions are
right. My actions. I choose to
but
what I do
time.
with the time that was given to me. Or
who
that
gave you
share.
time?
God.
I don't understand.
God. She's a light.
So then it's yours
because it's a present.
God gave it
That's
to you.
why they call it a present.
So
every
now
day.
Instead of Central Time, we call it Scott Time.
There you go. Hey, that's a T-shirt. Scott Time. I love it. Right? Holy cow, we're already past the hour too. I love this conversation.
Right.
We can spend a lot more time on this subject.
I'm just saying. All that I'm saying is people get bent out of shape because of time. They are not present. They don't practice mind. People just don't. There's more people who do not practice mindfulness.
I agree with you there.
What?
I totally agree with you there.
Yeah. This is what creates. This is what absolutely creates stress, anxiety, hatred. Right?
Oh, it definitely can fuel that fire.
Kent really knows how to poke the hell out of the bear.
Yes, he does. He is a bear.
Yeah,
I see what Shana wrote above this one.
Yeah.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I?
Listen,
sticks and stones can break my bones.
I appreciate the time that everybody has spent.
Is it their time?
And I'm sorry for disrespecting your time with this show every Friday morning. But
you can tune into us every Friday and just get 16 different thought processes on
You
them
don't
using
need
some
to-
simple ideas,
listen.
but it makes us think, right?
Listen, here's the truth. The truth is I absolutely love everybody. And most of the time the topics here are things that Scott and I kick around or discuss or hear in a funny conversation in a bar or something like that. And today it all started because I got in my truck again this week and it's 2 minutes slow. So I'm like,
What's
something
going on with my
it
clock?
can't continuously
Ken's
be 2
got this
minutes slow,
conspiracy
right?
theory. The government's slowly taking our time away.
They're fastly taking it away. They're
There's
speeding
a
it
clock
up,
ghost
right?
in your truck.
Yeah. So a lot of our wisdom doesn't necessarily,
Hey,
bless you. It really comes from you all.
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say, because I don't know if I've got too much wisdom.
And yes, Sal, what I absolutely love doing, words absolutely have meaning, right? And I love taking words that have meaning when people generalize and throw them out there. But listen, all we ever want to do is have a good cup of coffee powered by our good friends over at Heady Cup. They're a small batch specialty coffee roaster specializing in single origin coffees and in custom blends. They're awesome. They're here. Check them out, headycup.com. Good stuff. Yeah, I need to get an atomic clock in my truck. Just watch it go. But listen, we love you. I thank you for spending some time with us today, Don. And I listen. For a lot of people who are listening, probably think I'm a dick, but I absolutely agree and run my life a lot like Don and Scott.
I know you're doing a little poke the bear today. You're good at the contrarian.
Yep. And if you want to know, I am the guy. I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day because I think I'm wasting daylight. Right. So even when I was a kid, I didn't sleep all day because I wasn't wasting time. And I married the most beautiful woman in the world. And she is the one who's like, yeah, we'll get there. Right. We'll get there. So it's a beautiful blend. And I am that guy too. And I say it to my teams if you're not here 15 minutes before practice, you're late. I'll always say that.
Oh, see, folks, the truth comes out. Now. He just likes to poke our bear.
Closes with the truth, doesn't
and
he?
here's the thing that I love about the show that we have, and I love about Kent and all of you guys as listeners, is we can take something that seems so insignificant or so just acceptable and really pull it apart and look at it from 20 different ways. And if we can help make you look at something different and maybe change your life, make your life a little bit better, make you understand your life a little bit better,
make you appreciate
it, right? Yeah, Scott's time. Well, the DDOE, the daily dose of encouragement, right? To know that we're all here, we all have different views, but hey, how do you look at it? And it can help us to get along better, because when we are along together and as a tribe or working as a community and as a society, helping people and actually caring and not disrespecting on, out of spite and shit, this world is a much better place. And this is why I do this every day, because it's just near and dear to my heart. So thank you guys. I really am blessed that you all tune into us every week and see us. So stop in and remember to stay tuned, because we have a
close with a comment.
Back. That's right. So I just want everybody to know too, the shirt of the day is a $45 dildo.
There you go. Hey, Kip, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just make a closing comment for me. Anyway, you guys can keep talking all you want, but again, it pains me to do this, but a compliment to you, Kent, because when they're calling out you as the poke and the bear. It pains them
to give you a compliment.
But this is a compliment to you, Kent, because I remember sitting across from the table from you many times, and we would have a little fun like this. And the credit to you is you're so good at it. Sometimes I can't quite tell if he's poking the bear or if he's speaking his heart. And so
Amen.
That's why this show that's part of the reason the show.
That's part of the grounds, baby. That's it. Right. Don, I absolutely love you. And I know you fellas down there in Texas is going to be a gorgeous day. So hang in there. Yeah. And everybody else around the world, strawberries are going to increase in price. So you should better go out and buy them and freeze them. A lot of rain in California, which produces 90% of the strawberries for the nation. All right, everybody, we got to run. Come back for Bridging Civil Tension. Love y'all.
Thanks, guys.